Bill, I will have to say to you that my theme right now is celebrating business, and it was a natural theme for me to take on because in my particular situation, I have been celebrating business for as long as I can remember because I was born into a family that did business. Both my grandfather and my father, so I came by it honestly.
Right.
And one of the reasons why I celebrate business is because of what is happening with you and I right now, that I meet folks and have an opportunity to share business, talk about business. And I should explain that you and I first met in an exercise room.
That's right, at the
And
YMCA.
I was instructing a cycling class, indoor cycling, and I see this big monster of a guy come in my room. I said, "Man alive, is that guy going to get on my bike and work?" And I watched the guy down in the basketball court playing with the kids, his sons, and everybody half his age, and
it's true, very true.
Being right in there. So that is one of the reasons why I celebrate business, because being able to build these kind of relationships and where they start to grow, not necessarily in a business sense.
Yeah.
So I told you how I kind of got started in my life. When in your life did you find out that business was what you wanted to do with your life?
Right. Thank you, David. So I was the first person in my family to go to college. My parents did not go to college, and they told me from the time I was very young that I would be going to college. So it was never a discussion point. It was just something that I knew I would do, and took a very traditional route after I got my accounting degree, and that is to join a CPA firm. I joined one of the larger CPA firms, one of the big four firms, and did that for a couple of years, got certified, and at this time it was the mid-1980s, and business was really good, and hopped around from one job to another for a couple of years.
In the CFO position that you and I finally met when you were a CFO?
So not yet. That came maybe 10 years later. So I, again, went from external audit to internal audit to a position in the accounting department of a Wall Street firm. And then I wound up at Siemens, the big German company. And I had taken German in high school and in college, and really had an affinity for the language and the culture. Really, my heritage is German, although my parents didn't speak German. And it was at that point, 1987, I was 36 years old, where I began to combine a couple of things that I was good at and liked. One was accounting. I had been doing well in my career, and the other was this affinity for German and Germany. Now I was working for a German company. I really began to enjoy what I was doing, and I really began to see the opportunities that working for an international company could provide.
And then, yeah, I didn't know that about you. Siemens, you don't get much more techie and involved and pointed and focused as Siemens is. So, and I noticed too, Bill, now that you say that, and you and I have never had this discussion, so I'm learning something new about you. I noticed as I followed you over in the last couple of years, and you're traveling, and you've been doing quite a bit of traveling in the last couple of years. You often went to Germany.
Yeah, and it's funny, you said before that one of the things that you celebrate is the opportunity to interact with people that you might otherwise not have an opportunity to meet. And I feel the same way. And to come back to your comment on travel, I have been fortunate. I've traveled all over the world. I think I've been to 40 countries, a lot on business, some for pleasure, but it's rewarding. It's inspirational in a way that if I were in Dubai or in Sao Paulo, I could pick up the phone and call someone that I've met and done business with. And so I really came to love that aspect of my job, was this worldwide travel, buying businesses all over the world, negotiating deals. It was a great time.
Okay, so I've always wondered. You said buying businesses. So the last time I was really following you closely in terms of business, you were with a company in Cincinnati. You were selling, that company is being sold, correct? So you've done the buying and selling of many businesses?
Correct. Yeah. So I've had the good fortune to land at a company in Cincinnati that manufactured packaging machinery, and we grew organically by introducing new products, things like that, but also inorganically by going out and buying businesses that did things that we were unable to do. And so in my 13 years as CFO there, we bought 29 businesses, and we actually quintupled the size of the business. So we went from 160 million in revenue when I started to 850 when I left. And the other interesting aspect, David, is that during those 13 years, we sold the business 3 times. So I was hired by one private equity firm. We went out and bought 10 companies. We sold the business to another private equity firm. We bought 10 companies. We sold the business to another private equity firm. So 13 years, 29 acquisitions, 3 sales. It was a whirlwind, but very rewarding.
So in your lifetime, you probably have handled over $1 trillion.
I don't know about that, but it's a lot of money. Yeah, I've been.
I'm really excited because I knew you were doing some things, but I didn't know as intensely. So you had a model, you had a very tight model. You worked the model, and it worked, and you kept on going.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. We had a model. We knew what we wanted to acquire. We knew how we were going to acquire it. And then most importantly, we knew how we were going to integrate these businesses into our company once we completed the acquisition.
So how many different private equity firms have you worked with?
I've worked for 5 PE firms, in my career. So after leaving the packaging machinery business, in 2018, I sort of wanted to, step off the treadmill, to use a relevant pun here. And I wanted to do something different. And so I looked at a couple of opportunities, and I was called by another private equity firm who had seen my resume and my LinkedIn profile, and they had an opportunity in Alabama. And they wanted to exit that business, and they wanted a CFO in the seat that had been through this before. And I had 4 successful exits. And so I took that job in September of 19, and 21 months later, June of 2021, so a little bit over a year ago, I left that company. We sold the business. It's all public information, so I don't mind telling you. We sold the business for $1.35 billion to a large publicly traded Philadelphia company. So good outcome for everybody. And again, I was blessed to have the opportunity.
You made me smile about one thing you said a couple minutes ago. You said that you bought and sold the same company 3 times.
Yes, that's right.
I helped a friend in early 2000, helped him start a company. I was on his advisory board, and he was in the East. He was in Philadelphia, and I was in Ohio, and we had done business with each other for almost 10 years prior to that. Each of us working for companies, and that's the only time in my life where I've worked for a company for 10 years, 9 years, and he was my main client. So we went on and established a relationship. Actually, I'm trying to get him right now to come and talk about celebrating business. But one reason why he celebrates business with me, the company, when he started the company, he was going to go in one direction with her. And I said, Kevin, that's not the best way for you to go. You are a brilliant direct marketer, one of the best I've ever seen in my life. You know the insurance world because you and I have worked in the insurance world together doing in marketing. you need to focus on that. And he did. He bought and sold his company 3 times.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And he became a millionaire each time, at least a millionaire each time it happened.
right.
But I didn't get any of that million, though.
You were on the wrong side there.
But no, we laugh about that. And I guess he kind of owes me still, doesn't he? After all,
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Okay, so an interesting segue into a second question is, are you still celebrating business today? And I kind of know the answer because I think you've already given us the answer, but why don't you share your perspective on it?
Sure. Well, I think I am still celebrating everything that came along with success in business. And of course, I did well financially, and again, I'm always a little bit reluctant to I don't want to say brag about it, but even to talk about it, because there's a lot of qualified, really strong performing people that never get the opportunities that others get. And I was fortunate to work with excellent management teams, and no matter how good you are, if you're a Gold Glove first baseman that hits 330 and you're on a team with everybody else that hits 220, you're not going to win. So again, I did my job. I was on a team that really knew what all the members knew what they were doing, and we collectively did really well. And I'm still celebrating that today. Now, I'll pause in 1 second, but I have pivoted and changed directions, and I'm not actively in business anymore. I'm on a number of boards, and I have investments in a number of companies, but I'm in a different profession now, and I'll get to that when you think it's appropriate.
It's appropriate.
Okay. Yeah. So after 38 years, almost exactly 38 years in finance and accounting, and 5 successful exits in the PE world, I decided I wanted to do something different. And today I am a teacher at an inner city Catholic elementary school in Cincinnati, right in Clifton, right by UC. And it's a super rewarding, unbelievably challenging position, but I look forward to going there every day.
Well, when the weather gets nicer, I'm going to come down and visit you.
Would love it.
Someday.
Yeah, I'd love that. I'd love that.
And I kind of joked with you a couple months ago. What did you actually teach in the school?
I am an aide in the 2nd and 3rd grade, so I help the 2nd and 3rd grade teachers. And I like to, say that the things I enjoy most are helping kids with math and reading. So kids that might be struggling with those 2 things, and it could be something as simple as, recognizing a pattern, helping children to recognize patterns. And there's some mundane parts to it too. Sometimes it means escorting the boys to the bathroom so they can, all take a break or something. But I think, again, I'm an aide to the 2nd and 3rd grade teachers there, and I like to focus on math and reading.
Why don't I'm going to challenge you now a little bit, because now you've caught my attention. In my past, when I wrote my book, and that goes back to 2007, I didn't necessarily write the book and publish it. I published it myself. I didn't actually do that to make money, to see how many copies of the book I could sell. I used it to more brand me and what I was doing.
Right.
And but the best thing I did with the book was I went into elementary classes, high school classes, and college classes, exposed my book, tried to get the students excited about the concept, and then got things going that way. And I accomplished everything that I really wanted to accomplish when I saw it. And I probably put a couple thousand books into different school systems here in Cincinnati.
Wow. Yeah, impressive.
But it was fun. It was that, and why I mentioned that is maybe we could kind of get the same type thing going in your school.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's an interesting concept. I haven't thought about that before, but there is definitely a need for
Something.
business mentorship especially for inner city students who sometimes they view their opportunities as very limited, and I don't like that. I think they should have a very wide view of what their opportunities might be, but they have this very narrow view because it's all they know, and so absolutely business mentorship for even young students would definitely be valuable.
Okay, I'm going to make a commitment to you right now. I know for a fact I've got a couple boxes of books still left.
Yeah,
I know that.
Yeah.
I'm going to dedicate one of those boxes of books to bring to your class, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I love it. It's very generous. Thank you very much.
To make something happen on that way. Okay, great. Well, my third question that I want to ask folks, once again, you have already answered the question, because I was going to take the first two answers and do a triage on them, and then ask you a question that would qualify you to become a Celebrate Business expert. So the recording that we are doing right now will go into that library. It's a digital library, and it'll be there forever. So you are now inducted.
I love it.
Well, you passed it because you are an expert in what you do, and the fact is you keep on doing it and repeat the model, and it works, and you keep on going and make good things happen for a lot of folks. So
yeah, thank you for saying that. I love it. And I still stay active today. Like I mentioned, I'm on 3 boards of directors, and I also have investments in a number of other businesses that I oversee, not in a board capacity, but just as in a fiduciary manner. And so I love the combination of teaching school in the morning, getting out at 2:00, and then being able to do business calls in the afternoon. I do have one interest in Europe, which it's a little bit challenging because when I get out of school at 2:00, it's already 8:00 in Central Europe. But we seem to be able to make it work.
I communicate a lot with a friend in Greece, and we run into the same challenges. But he's an expert. He's number one expert in his field, in what he does. And so we both want to make it happen. And the interesting thing, you'll laugh when I say this, every time we usually talk around 6:00 Eastern time. No, I'm sorry, 12:00 Eastern time, which is 6:00 European time.
Right.
And when we are done, he goes and he does a workout. He's an avid workout person. And he actually has a kind of a mini gym in his basement, which he has never showed me yet. But we talk about what he's doing, and he looks to me to give him some cardiovascular information that I've gleaned over the years.
To each his own. I mean, we all have our own regimens to stay in shape. And you and I were talking about that a little bit before we started the interview. And sounds like
not an interview. It is a conversation.
Got it.
No, it appears to be an interview, but I want it to be more of a conversation. And
sure.
And it's working. I've done a couple under this. I've done lots and lots of face-to-face conversations on video. This is only the 3rd or 4th one I've done under my new theme, and I plan to do 25 like this in the next couple weeks.
Wow.
To really get it going. So
quite ambitious.
Well, we're having fun at what we're doing, so why not?
Yeah.
It's no more ambitious than some of the things that you've done in your life.
Yeah.
Hey, I need to get involved in another situation where I can buy and sell companies.
Right. Yeah.
And the beauty of that, you will never lose that talent.
Right. That's what helps me on these in these board roles too, is that I've been there and sat in that chair and done that type of work. So you're right for sure.
And I will have to say, you have piqued my attention, and you and I need to have a private discussion in the very near future.
Love it.
After these 50-mile-an-hour winds come sweeping through Cincinnati, are you better protected in northern Kentucky than Cincinnati with the weather, or about the same?
I'm really not sure. I haven't been paying close attention to it.
Don't.
But,
It'll scare the living daylights out of you.
excuse me. Yeah, I know you're right. Everybody's. I don't even need to look because so many people are talking about it, and I don't know. I'll wait to see what happens, and then
I've never. Not a whole lot really freaks me out, because I like to work. I am motivated by challenge, so that's not an issue. But this weather issue that we're having right now is freaking me out, and it's kind of scary that while I live in an older building, I live in an apartment building, no insulation in the walls. I mean, it's maybe I'll move down into your library down there. It looks like
yeah. There you go. If you need to, you're welcome.
Well, I want to thank you, Bill, for sharing your story, your thoughts, your dreams. I say without hesitation, I'm living my dream right now, and I can tell by the way you've told your story and the smiles that I've seen. You are living your dream, and your dream probably gets stronger and stronger every day. I mean, it never stops.
David, I'm blessed, and I do feel like that every day. I'm the happiest I've ever been, and the healthiest, and maybe the two go together. You know, when you're
There's
happy,
no question they go together.
Exactly. Yeah, you can focus on that sort of thing. So, no, thank you for this opportunity. I enjoyed our conversation, not interview, but I did enjoy our conversation, and would love to catch up with you again at some point.
Well, you told me you had to get going, so thank you for your time today, and we will talk soon.
Sounds good. Thank you, David. Have a nice holiday.
And you likewise. Enjoy your day, Bill.
Yeah, thanks. Bye now.
Bye.